It's the roast wonderful quiz of the year.
Welcome to the answer episode of the inaugural Mark Megan's Weekly Roast Christmas quiz. So, if you are listening to this and you have not listened to the previous episode, I suggest you press pause immediately and listen to the previous episode. These are the answers to the quiz. So even for our most feather-brained friends at the back of the bus, these are the answers to the quiz rather than the questions. So if you haven't been asked the questions yet, don't listen to the answers, okay? Nevertheless, answer to question 1. January 2024. The question was about Bambi Thug. The answer was 6th. Bambi Thug came 6th in Eurovision. Next question. A nautical mile is longer than a normal mile. A nautical mile is longer than a normal mile. Question number 3. The answer is Sir Paul McCartney. Sir Paul McCartney is the first British billionaire British musician. How many times did I say British there for a bonus point? Nevertheless, the answer is Paul McCartney. February 2024. Which of these dates fell first in February in 2024? Was it Pancake Tuesday, Valentine's Day, or Mother's Day? The answer, of course, was Pancake Tuesday. You are deducted automatically 8 points if you say Pancake Day. Which cosmetics retailer entered administration in February 2024? Which cosmetics retailer entered administration in February 24? The answer to this, guys, which I'm sure most of you got, was The Body Shop, where they sell those lovely, delicious little bath balls that you're not supposed to eat, by the way. In the end, it transpires that you are not supposed to consume those by mouth. Question number 3. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. Everybody must have gotten that right. The answer to this one, how much money did Taylor Swift's Eras Tour generate? 2 billion. Like 2 billion is just an insane amount of money. So yeah, 2 billion for Taylor Swift. On to March. March. First question. Name one of the 3 words of the year in order to be awarded the points. Those 3 words were brain rot, which is 2 words in itself, which is annoying. But anyway, brain rot, demure, and manifest. I'm surprised that manifest was only now. I would have thought that would have come in a few years ago. But still, manifest, brain rot, and demure. If you had any of those down, you get your 2 points. On March the 14th, I released my debut book, which went on to become a #1 bestseller. Several weeks on end. No mean feat. Nevertheless, what was the title of this book? The title was, of course, This Is Not a Self-Help Book. No points will be awarded if you title it This Is Not a Self-Help Book, but it might help you, because that was like the byline. It wasn't actually the title. And I actually didn't want that on the cover because I just thought it sounds so fucking evangelical. Do you know what I mean? Patreon.com. No. Okay. Question number 3. In March, who won the Women's Six Nations? England is the answer. I think it's like their 3rd year, or I think it was like their 2nd or 3rd year in a row winning it. April. Which event in the UK in April 24 had broke a world record for the biggest one-day fundraising event? The answer to that, of course, is not Comic Relief. Uncle Desmond with the burst genitals, I'm looking at you. No, the answer is the London Marathon. So 2 points if you had that. Moving on. Which former jockey was the trainer of the horses who won the Grand National at St Andrews, or at Aintree rather, and the Scottish Grand National at Ayr? The answer to this is Willie Mullins. I got this wrong when I was asked it because the former jockey element of it threw me. I didn't know that Willie Mullins had been a jockey. So yes, Willie Mullins is the answer to that question. Madonna's free concert on the beach in Brazil, 1.6 million fans, etc, etc, etc. Her first husband was Sean Penn, whose sort of, I suppose, documentarian ineptitude recently led to the arrest of El Chapo. Mr. Penn there. On to May. First one in May was, what's the most Googled television show in the country for 2024? Surely everybody got this right. The answer, of course, baby reindeer. That's baby reindeer for 2 points. When did the Dublin portal open? We all know that. It was in May. What date though? The date was May the 8th. So 4 days after the May the 4th be with you unfunny perverts made jokes around the office, May the 8th is when the Dublin portal opened. Question number 3 of May. Which country is in the world is believed to have the most amount of miles of motorway? I phrased that wrong, but you know what I mean. And the answer, of course, is China. That is China for most miles of motorway. June. Which famous glove designer had Taylor Swift wearing a pair of her gloves on her billionaire mitts on one of the nights of her performances in Dublin? The answer, of course, is Paula Rowan, situated in the Westbury Mall. Not Mal. Like, what is it with some Irish people? Once they hit like the age of 50, they start pronouncing mall as Mal. It is Mall though, isn't it? I know my accent's infuriating, but it's definitely Mall. Moving on. This year saw the Netflix adaptation of One Day, a romantic drama which had us all screaming at the TV after that episode. Do you know who played the protagonist Emma in the 2011 film version of this story? And that is, of course, my boy, Kieran, wherever he is right now with his family, or his lovely new wife, I'm assuming. Anne Hathaway was the woman who played Emma in the original. I must say the new one was just phenomenal. So brilliant. There's one moment whenever, she breaks up with the comedian guy and he can't handle the breakup and he just looks at her and he's sort of crying and he goes, I don't know what to do. Is the most poignant bit of TV I've seen in like about a decade. You've moved on now. I know, no one cares. Okay, let's go. The Channel Tunnel, which links Britain and France, turned 30 in 2024. It's the longest undersea tunnel in the world. But the question was, how long was it? I'm not Googling it right now. It is, of course, in miles. The answer that you're looking for would have been 31 miles. So there you go. Points to whoever got that. 2 points to whoever got that one right. Moving on to July. Donald Trump, the assassination attempt. When did that happen? July the 13th. Moving on. Breakdancing made its way to the Summer Olympics. Now, what was the name of the infamous Australian breakdancer? We're looking for the stage name, that is. And of course, the answer is Ray Gunn, who has, I believe, subsequently retired from the sport. There were unholy levels of online abuse around Ray Gunn's performance in the Olympics, and totally undeserved. Let people be people and do their best wherever they can. Now, on we go. The Olympic Games. This is to name how many winners we had in the Olympics, and there were 7 medals awarded to Ireland, 4 gold, and 3 bronze. Now, if you named any of these, you will have gotten the bonus points as discussed, or at least outlined. Here are the Olympic winners: Daniel Whiffen, Fintan McCarthy, Paul O'Donovan, Rhys McClenachan, well said Mark, Kelly Harrington, Mona McSharry, Dara Lynch, Phil Doyle, Daniel Whiffen. There you go. Moving on. It was 50 years ago that ABBA won the Eurovision Song Contest in Brighton. But what song did they win it with? The answer, of course, was Waterloo. Who wrote the book Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, The Magical Car? This is a great one. I hope somebody got this right. The answer to this is Ian Fleming, the guy who wrote James Bond. Amazing. Moving on. Which US city do the band The Killers originate from? I hope some of you got this right. Is it there in your... Yeah, it is. It is actually, Brandon. It's right there in my heartbreak, and I'm glad you brought that up because you guys are from Las Vegas. So, Viva Las Vegas. Viva La Killers. Viva La... September. Saying the name of what dried fruit used to encourage people to smile before a photo in the 1800s, long before the phrase cheese was populated. The answer is prunes. Prunes. I think they say that years ago, they said that to do that on Instagram for people to make their cheekbones look more pronounced. Prunes. Say it to yourself there. Prunes. Who was Kamala Harris's vice presidential running mate in the 2024 US election? The answer, of course, was Tim Walz. In what year did the Beatles split up? 1970. On we go to October. Which name was Grammy Award winner Emily Drinkard, rather. Was it Emily Drinkard or Dinkard? I think it was Drinkard. Sissy Houston, anyway. That was Sissy. Old Sissy. Died at 1990. 91, actually. Didn't die in 1990. Good stuff, Mark. Maybe you could focus on reading properly in order for people to get the answers of this quiz. Just because your attention span is shortened because you've ADHD doesn't mean that everybody else has to suffer as a result. Oh, I've got ADHD. Which country in the world has the longest coastline? The answer to that? Canada. I know. Surprising. Number 3. What was the Turkish city of Istanbul called before 1930? You guessed it. Constantinople. November. The answer to the lookalike question, of course, is Jeremy Allen White. I think he did. I don't know if he was necessarily lookalike status just yet, just off the back of the Bear. We have to see the boys' chops first before we start doing lookalike contests. But there you go. The Bear was absolutely phenomenal. Moving on. 3 of the most searched Googled items in Ireland, the top 3 were the Euros. We will accept the UEFA Euros. The Euros, the US presidential election, and I will accept that in any way, in any shape or form. Not Donald Trump, though. It has to be the election. And thirdly, Kate Middleton, which was a bit of a surprise, to be honest. I didn't realise we had that much royal fever in Ireland. So yeah, Kate Middleton was the number 3rd, obviously, when she was unfortunately diagnosed with cancer earlier in the year. So they were the 3 most, or at least when she revealed her cancer diagnosis, they were the most 3 searched items in Irish Googling. Now, the last question in the November section is about where I got married. The answer in terms of the village is Straffan. St. Bridget's Church in Straffan. So there you go, 2 points for that. On to December. Which BBC comedy is due to air its final? It's probably happened by now. Gavin and Stacey. The answer to that, of course, was Gavin and Stacey. Then you have to DM me for the password. Have you all done that? That's where the password will be revealed. On Instagram, at Megan Mark. Number 3. What is the name of the elusive contribution to the Weekly Rose podcast? And we all know the answer to that. It is, of course, Mrs. Jolly's. Good old-fashioned Mrs. Jolly's. And with that, we are done. We are at the end of the quiz, but also we are at the end of the year. I am taking next week off, and then we'll be back. So look, happy Christmas. Thank you so much for your support over the last 12 months. Genuinely, I hugely appreciate it. If you enjoyed the quiz, send me a message on Instagram, at Megan Mark. If you want to get some more bonus content, check me out on patreon.com/Mark Megan. That's where I post all of my travel reviews and weekly articles and whatnot. Have a great Christmas. Happy New Year. I'll see you on, I think, January the 8th. Could be wrong. Yeah, I think it is January the 8th. Anyway, happy Christmas. I hope you have a good one. Mind yourself. Look after each other. And I'll see you very, very soon. Here's to 2025, the year we go live. Let's go.
It's the roast wonderful quiz of the year.